Hey guys, this is Carolina Varsity's 2015. We're taking a look at the players of the week for week 10. I'm Dale Ross,
And I'm Matt Moore, the pet man.
and Matt wants me to go first. So I attended the South Mecklenburg Olympic game at Olympic, and I've got some nominations from the coach. I prefer to take nominations from coaches if I can get them from South Mecklenburg. First one is Holden Parker, linebacker. He
Mm-hmm.
had 6 tackles, 4.5 tackles for loss.
Mm.
I love this kid. He's number 51. And
Mm.
I don't know if you remember him from your games, but
I do.
I love watching that kid play. I got to say this at the Porter Ridge game, he got an interception, and Coach White asked me, "Did you get a picture of that? Because his feet might have got off the ground." So they kid him about his vertical jump. Uh, Jake Lawler, he's one of those big defensive ends that they've got.
Mm-hmm.
He had 6 tackles, 3 for loss, and 1 big sack. I got a video of the sack up on the site. Played a great ball game. And John Brannon, 6 tackles, 1 sack, 1 pass breakup, and 1 INT. South played great defense. Really, that whole defense played solid football.
Mm-hmm.
For Olympic, it was kind of hard for me to pick some people out, but there was one kid that kept disrupting plays every once in a while. Number 52, John Kirkland. So, that kind of stood out to me. In a game that you don't score any points, you really have to start looking for things. And and maybe this is a prejudice because I really grew a liking to watching this kid last year, and that's Melvin Howard, number
Mm-hmm.
88. I
Yeah,
think
he was one for me.
he
Yep.
was one for you.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good, solid playing defensive end, and uh, you know, South had they not played as well, uh, South would have scored more points. And then number 98, and I would thought this would be in Jacques, but that's actually Guess. That's got to be like a Guess.
Okay.
I've never seen. What do you think? I've never seen that name before. Jacques Barginere, defensive tackle. Again, he's another one of those guys that was disrupting some things at times
Mm-hmm.
on the interior.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a point at Olympic that you got to point at as playing better than anything else, it would be their defense. Their defensive players play um, seem to stand out more than their offensive players.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, not scoring a lot of points, but anyway, guys, you guys play good football. Thank you.
Good job,
Yeah.
guys. I attended North Meck Advance game. Three from North Meck, Demontrez Burroughs. We did an interview with him after the game. It's up
Mm-hmm.
on the site in the article as well. He had a touchdown catch, an interception, and another big catch to set up the game-winning touchdown. And he was matched up a lot against Myles Dorn. And some of the reasons why Vance didn't score as much because of his coverage on Dorn.
Mm-hmm.
So he played an all-around great game. Kendall Cole's quarterback from North Meck. He had a touchdown pass to Burroughs in the second quarter. He had the game-winning touchdown run in the victory over Vance. That video is in the forums. I need to put it to my article also. That's a heck of a touchdown run. If you hadn't seen it, go take a look
Right.
at it. And Chris Moore, two-way offensive and defensive lineman. He got pressure consistently against Kingsley Affetti and Vance. And turned around and played offensive line also in victory. So I was very impressed by him. He plays defensive end coming off the edge.
Right.
He
Right.
was in the backfield all
Yeah.
night. For Vance, I only got one guy, Myles Dorn. I was really impressed with him. This is my first time seeing him live. Of course, I had heard all the accolades and seen the
Right.
stats and everything. 2 TD catches. He had a big interception to get his team back in the game. And he was really the only guy that I noticed that was firing up his team, trying to get them going.
Yeah.
And I noted in the article, he's a leader.
Yes.
And he's a heck of a ball player. I was very impressed seeing him. It was a joy to watch him.
You know, in the games that I've seen him play in, you got to say the same things about him as far as
Mm-hmm.
his energy towards not giving up
Mm-hmm.
and trying to get the other players motivated.
Yeah,
I agree.
most definitely. So let's take a look at some more guys that did a great job last week. Bennie Lemay for Butler, 7 total touchdowns, 6 rushing, 1 receiving, 166 rushing yards. In the 76-7 win over Porter Ridge, the 6 TDs are a school record. Ryan Jones at Mallard Creek, 5 catches for 122 yards, 3 touchdowns in the win over A.L. Brown. You've got another one from Mallard Creek also.
Yes, I do. So Jay Smith, this nomination was sent in to me. He was 16 of 21, 272 yards. Three of the passes were for TDs.
Mm-hmm.
He had a 19-yard rushing TD as well. So played a very, very solid ball game from what I was told.
People concerned about the Mallard Creek passing game looks like they're back on track.
Yeah, he had a pretty good ball game. Exactly.
Linebacker, Xander Gagnon.
Yeah.
I tell you, he was a player game for me last week. Well, 2 weeks ago now,
Right.
against the South Meck. 2 pick-6 interceptions in the 38-14 win over West Meck. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
I'll tell you.
He's a good ball player.
Yeah, he is. The way he
Yeah.
drops in those zones and sits and reads the quarterback, I'm not surprised that he did that well.
I bet he closed down on space well, too, which was something we talked about last week. He's got that kind of closure.
Yeah. Cameron Tully, Ardrey Kell wide receiver, 8 catches for 155 yards and 3 touchdowns in the victory over Barry. And where did he get those passes from?
Well, where do we think? Bryce Maginley. 15 of 27, 251 yards, 4 TDs he had on the night. So
Impressive stuff.
good ball game.
Quantavious Davis, you might know him as Quantavious McGill. Now he's going by Davis. Independence running back, 202 rushing yards in the win over Myers Park. Obviously controlling the ball game, using that ground game for the Patriots. Dyami Brown, West Meck receiver, 109 yards receiving and a touchdown in the loss to Catholic. I just want to shout out Marlon Dunlap, committed to University of North Carolina. I love North Carolina. I know you're a state guy, but just want to say congratulations to Mr. Dunlap.
Yeah, congratulations.
Marquil Osborne, I call this the best week ever. He was named homecoming king at halftime.
Okay.
He was named to the Under Armour All-American game, and he had an interception in the win over West Charlotte. he's loving life right now.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Good ball game.
Also for Huff, Jarrett
Good
Nagy, 3 rushing touchdowns in the victory over West Charlotte. Name we've heard before, Gabe Montgomery, Providence Day running back. 149 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns in their win over Country Day. Providence Day has won 5 games in a row. Shout out to Coach Adam Hastings, former Ardrey Kell coach, getting it done over there.
Yep.
Also for Providence Day, Elliott Beiser, 2 interceptions, including one to seal the win in the victory over Country Day. And I know you got some more over there too.
Yeah, so another nomination that came into me. This is an offensive lineman, Alex Gorley. We've had him before. Of course, he's a Shrine Bowler. He was named in that game the North Carolina Farm Bureau offensive player. There at South Iredell, they name offensive and defensive players of the game, and so he was actually named the player of the game that night. Alex has played every position on the offensive line this year.
Wow.
So what he does is where they need, either they got a matchup problem and they'll move him to that matchup problem, or if they have an injury, they'll move him. So he started out at center, but he's played tackle, guard. He's played all positions on the line, which tells you he's very versatile, because in some of those spots, obviously, he's got to be moving and pulling. Other spots, he's got to be powering and, blocking. So,
if you've never played offensive line, you don't know how impressive that is.
Exactly.
There's a huge difference between a guard and a tackle, and even the center as well.
There most definitely is. So, played a great ball game. You're having a very good season, and your team's having a very good season.
That's awesome.
You want to hit another one?
Go right ahead.
One more, and then we'll roll back to you. East Mecklenburg, Kamal Howard. He rushed 19 times for 185 yards and 2 TDs.
That's good production right there.
That's good production. So
Almost 10 yards a
congratulations. That's right.
Man. MHS always does a great job nominating guys from the North Piedmont area. Caleb Clucking, Mooresville quarterback, 13 of 22, 257 yards, 3 touchdowns, also rushed for 34 yards and another touchdown in their 45-26 win over Alexander Central. McCavis Maxwell, Statesville Christian wide receiver, 4 catches for 140 yards and 3 touchdowns in their 45-0 victory over Carolina Gladiators. You tell me where Carolina Gladiators is, I will buy you an extra value meal from McDonald's. Hayden Carlson, Lake Norman quarterback, 426 passing yards. Wow. 6 touchdowns and a 64-14 win over North Iredell. Very nice. Cole Jackson, late knowing running back. 136 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. Also had a 21-yard TD catch in the win over North Iredale as well.
Wow. Okay, so I've got one from West Forsyth.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so this is a little further reach out.
Okay.
Darian Slade, 242 yards rushing, 2 TDs. That wasn't enough. He threw for 75 yards and 2 more TDs.
I remember that guy. He's a quarterback.
Yeah, so 317 yards of total offense.
He's a real good player, man. He's been good for a couple of years.
So there you go. So
awesome.
We thank you from sending them from way out.
Yeah, appreciate that. Now, our guy, Cody Reese. What did he do this week?
And our favorite guy. Exactly. Love a guy that can carry the rock as many times as this guy does.
Well, I'll tell you, man, he had a break this week. Only 20 carries.
Only 20 carries, which is a work night for most running backs.
But he had 225 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Pretty awesome. Over 10 yards a carry.
48-21 win over Central Academy from Mount Pleasant. And I'm telling you, we're going to get there.
Yeah.
It might be this week. I got to look and see who y'all playing. It might be this week. Nick Kelly for Concord, 27 carries for 204 yards and a game-winning TD run. And a 17-10 win over West Rowan. Nick Kelly's not even the starter. The starter was hurt, and Nick Kelly came in and filled in well. Josh Dale, J.M. Robinson quarterback, 4 total touchdowns, 3 passing and 1 rushing in their victory over East Rowan, 49-0.
Go Robinson.
I'm telling you, I love them, man.
Winning some ball games.
I love it. That gives hope to any team that's over, man. They're 6-3 now on the season.
Exactly.
They
could not buy a win last year.
No. They sure could.
I do. I've got from Philip O'Berry.
Oh,
a
man.
Big ball game that they played against Ardrey Kell. So, kid's been on here a number of times. Brian Digsby. What did he do?
Get it done.
19 of 39, 352 yards. Now, why is that? That's impressive. He was sacked 8 times in the ball game.
Oh, good gracious.
Yeah. So he had 117 yards rushing, 469 total yards. Wow. Think about that. 6 TDs. He had 1 interception. 469 total yards. Of course, he threw the ball a bunch to Kusegi Kirkland.
Who else?
Yeah, the guy that he's been throwing, number 11, number 1 to number 11.
Yeah.
216 yards receiving. That is pretty good. 4 TDs. For some reason, he dropped 1 ball. That was mentioned to me. He dropped it.
You got to catch it every time.
If you'd have caught that one, you'd have had 5 TDs. Just then you'd have won the ball game. Think about it.
You college coaches need to get over there and see that kid, man. I tell you. These spread offenses are taking off now in college football. Man, that's a guy you want.
That's right. These 2 kids that play great football. What else you got?
All right, let's finish it up. Prince Fox, North Gaston, 24 carries, 283 yards. 5 touchdowns, but they lost 56-47 to East Gaston. Man, that's tough. I know North Gaston runs that version of the South Point offense, so he's probably that big fullback taking them dives, coming strong. This is a nice little story here. Joey Bernardini, the Community School of Davidson. He's a running back. He scored 7 touchdowns, all in the first half.
In the first half.
He rushed for 211 yards in the first half on 11 carries. He scored 2 touchdowns on defense, a 76-yard pick 6, and then he recovered a fumble and ran it in from 30 yards out. I mean, that's awesome, man.
100 yards of offense, over 100 yards of offense on defense.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'll tell you. Wow.
Congratulations. Way to play football.
And we got to end it up with who else?
Oh, my goodness. Yep, there we go.
Surratt brothers.
Yes, sir.
And they did something this week they hadn't even done before. This is crazy. Chaz Surratt, East Lincoln quarterback. 309 yards passing, 5 touchdowns. Impressive, right?
That's very impressive.
He was 19 and 19. He didn't have an incompletion.
19 and 19. Wow.
Good.
That's good. That's good.
This was against West Caldwell.
Receivers are catching the ball too, obviously, which might lead to the next guy.
And of course, he hooked up with his brother, Sage Surratt. 9 catches, 193 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
Good grief. That East Lincoln, I'll tell you, Mike Bias, he knows offense. I heard him talk at a clinic once, and I was scrambling notes so fast I couldn't keep up. I'll tell you, that's impressive, man.
That is impressive,
Wow.
and they got a big ball game. We talked a little bit about needing to shut that combination down if Maiden wants to win Friday night. That's what they're going to have to do is shut that down.
Wow.
What a ball player.
Great job this week, guys. There were even more that I could have said. We just didn't have the time.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. You guys are playing real well.
Stop us from having to go find them. Send them to us. You're starting to send some in. Send more in. Every week, send them in. Tweet them, email, come to the forum, post them, call us, do something.
Text, don't call.
Thanks. You can post any comments you want. This will be in a forum down below. Thanks.